So not only are we going over a classic from Palmetto State Armory, but I'm also going to share with you guys 5 things that this rifle right here has taught me. Alright, so before we get into today's video, I gotta ask you guys, is simple better? As far as rifle setups go, is simple better? And at what point is it too simple? And at what point are you just doing too much to your AR? So that aside, let's jump into this review. Obviously, this is a very simple rifle. And spoiler alert, it's a very reliable rifle. It is from Palmetto State Armory. And just so you guys know, they did send this out to review. But like anything I get on this channel, it is honest. And in fact, I've lost some partnerships with companies for being too honest, I guess. Yeah, so I'm going to be going over everything on this rifle. I'm going to go over the specs and details. I'm going to share with you guys a real world accuracy test using cheap ammo and what you guys can expect from it. And I'm going to share my overall experience, pros and cons, and then at the very end of this video, I'm going to share with you guys 5 things that this rifle has actually taught me about my own shooting style and what I need and don't need. So before we get into any of that, if you guys are interested in this, either this kit or this rifle or maybe just the upper, I will have some links down in the description box below. They are affiliate links, so when you use them, you know, I get some kickback from it, but it's at no extra cost to you guys. It just really helps out the channel. So those will be down below. And yeah, let's kick it off by going over some of the specs and details. So this is Palmetto State Armory's premium 20-inch rifle kit. So this does have the cold hammer forged FN marked chrome line barrel. The barrel has a 1-in-7 twist with a phosphate finish on the outside. The barrel is high pressure tested and magnetic particle inspected. The gas system is rifle length and it is in fact chambered in 5.56 NATO. The muzzle device it comes with is an A2 flash hider, though you guys can see that on my current setup I have swapped that out for a 3-prong muzzle device from Rearden Manufacturing because I wanted a way to mount a suppressor. The handguards are your classic M16 style handguards, but they do have a nice heat shield inside. The upper receiver is forged 7075 T6 aluminum. The lower receiver is not included, so that's the one piece that does not come in this kit. Since the lower receiver is the actual serialized firearm, that is something you're going to have to purchase separately. The gas key on the bolt carrier group is secured with grade 8 fasteners and are staked down really well. The lower parts kit in general is a very basic lower parts kit with a mil-spec trigger. However, I've used a lot of different mil-spec triggers in my time, and this one has a very crisp and clean break. I don't have any plans of swapping this trigger out, as I'm pretty satisfied. The stock that it comes with is a classic A2 style stock, which does have the trapdoor compartment. So since the kit does not come with the stripped lower receiver, it does not come with any magazines. And I should also note that the carry handle sight is not included in the kit. That is an extra add-on. Not everyone is into the carry handle sight, so I think they don't include that because not everyone's going to want that. Some people do like to run red dots or ACOGs on their M16-ish build. However, I kind of like the classic look and it's something I want to play around with, so I picked one up and I haven't had any issues with it not holding 0. So if you guys are interested in the carry handle as well, I will have that link down in the description box. So as of today, the current cost of this kit is $619 with free shipping. Again, that does not include the stripped lower receiver or the carry handle sight. You know, the overall value of this kit being under $700 for a complete rifle, I think is a really great value and I do recommend it. So now let's talk about accuracy. And now on this channel, I like to show at least one test of real world results of what we would get on any given day shooting for groups. And so given, you know, current circumstances, ammo is really hard to come by. So I used a cheap 55 grain American Eagle and I used 62 grain American Eagle. And the day that I was shooting was a pretty windy day. And even then, I was actually pretty surprised. With the 55 grain American Eagle 5-shot group at 100 yards, I got 1 3/4 inches. With the 62 grain, I got about 2.5 inches. Now, going back to the 55 grain, I know 1 3/4 inches doesn't sound amazing to probably a lot of people. I don't know if most people, but I know a lot of people just have high expectations. Like every rifle should be 1 MOA out of the box or something with all ammo, but that's usually not how it works. Usually rifles are picky with ammo, and obviously the better ammo you have, the more consistent load that you have, it's going to shoot better. So the fact that this got an 1 3/4 out of the cheap 55 grain American Eagle, I was actually really impressed with it. And on top of that, I actually never shot high-end ammo with this per se, but I actually had really good days shooting, and I know for a fact this can be under an MOA. I've taken this out to 500 and 700 yards on steel targets, and the consistent hits I'm able to get is pretty impressive. Obviously, the velocity at those distances helps, but I call this an accurate barrel, and I'm very impressed. So now my overall experience, well, the kit went together nicely, no problems there. And as I spoiled earlier, it's been super reliable. It's a 20-inch AR with a front sight block, and it's bomb-proof. The only things that I would kind of chalk up as cons are more aesthetic as well as nitpicky things. So the first thing is the delta ring that came on the upper and the kit. It was like a shiny black, and I think I saved it. I'll roll in some footage right here of what it looked like. It was a shiny black, and it didn't look right on, you know, like a classic M16-ish build. And so that kind of bothered me. And also the upper receiver, I used it for a bit, but once I decided I was going to swap out the delta ring for one with a matte finish, I actually decided to just swap out the upper receiver as well with a plain one that I had laying around, just to go for the right look. When you have a build like this, it's obviously, it's still a tool, but it's obviously, you want to have it set up to have a certain look, to give off certain vibes. It's a lot of fun. And so I did that for me personally. Some people, that may not be a big deal, and I get it at the price point. There are going to be some things that, you know, this isn't some like, you know, high-end clone of an M16 by any means, but it's a 20-inch classic rifle, and so it was supposed to be more for function. It ended up looking really good besides those two things, and so I swapped out those two things, and I'm happy now. The last thing would be the front sight was a little crooked. This guy right here. It was canted, I should say. And everywhere I looked up, every form, every manual I can find as far as how crooked or how canted is too canted. And pretty much the conclusion was, if you're able to zero it with a rear sight, more specifically a rear carry handle, that is within spec. And I was literally at the far end of my windage, and it zeroed. So technically, it was within spec. And again, that kind of bothered me. I wasn't a huge fan that it was canted. More, it's aesthetically, you know, obviously it works just fine. I was able to zero it, and it cycled just fine. But I wanted to straighten it, and so I actually did manage to find a way to straighten this I would call it a correct way. I didn't twist anything, I didn't bend anything, I did not force anything. But if you guys want to hear me talk about that in another video, maybe I will, maybe I won't, because it's still kind of on, you know, borderline Mickey Mousing it. It's not, you know, I'm not a certified gunsmith by any means, so I don't want to give advice that may get someone to screw up their rifle. But if you guys are interested, put down in the comments. If I get enough people who are interested, maybe I'll go over how I did it. But it worked amazing, and the fit and finish after I was done is still really nice. I didn't have to force anything, so I was able to get that perfectly straight. My rear sight is in the center now, and it's been holding zero ever since. So to go over a couple of the other pros, kind of more has to do with the design of, I actually really enjoy a 20-inch barrel. A 20-inch AR with a rifle-length gas system with correct gas port sizes shoots very soft, and this is no exception. This rifle shoots very soft, and while you may see in some footage of me shooting it, it looks like it still has a good bit of recoil. you have to understand that this is a very lightweight rifle. It does not have nearly as the amount of weight and accessories as some of my other setups or a lot of other AR setups out there. But for comparing apples to apples, this shoots extremely soft. Another thing I really liked was the velocity you get from a 20-inch barrel. I noticed a really big difference shooting steel targets at a distance like 500 to 700 yards. I'd be shooting this next to my 12-inch barrel, next to a 16-inch barrel, and the 20-inch is noticeably, it's just louder when you hit the steel. I don't recall if I have footage of that or not. If I do, I'll roll that in. If not, I'm sorry. But just that audible difference it's kind of exciting, and it kind of, it opens your eyes to like, wow, the 20-inch is actually, it is making a big difference as far as velocity goes. And velocity translates to energy, and energy downrange with a rifle is important because what our rifle is for, right? So with that, I'm going to share with you guys the 5 things that this rifle has actually taught me. And some of you may not like some of these things, but they're realizations that I've come to, and they all fall under the category of simplicity works. So the first thing is a cheap classic A2 grip that comes in almost every lower parts kit. It works fine. Like I've never shot this in the middle of the day shooting it, or while shooting it and been like, wow, like this grip sucks. Like I never thought that. I'm shooting it and it worked fine. It was never even a thought in my mind. The second thing is the A2 flash hider works great. Now, this is an opinion I've had for a long time. I've always liked A2 flash hiders, and the only time that I really started to change muzzle devices on any of my setups was for mounting suppressors. And so on this guy, like I mentioned earlier, I do have the 3-prong, which looks pretty good on an M16-ish build. It's a 3-prong, kind of looks like a duck bill, but this mounts into a Q Plan B mount, and this is from Rearden Defense. But other than that, A2 flash hiders, they work. They work great. There's nothing wrong with it. The third thing is a basic non-free floating handguard. Works fine. Honestly, as far as accuracy goes, I'm not going to talk about attachments and stuff like that. I know that's a separate issue. But as far as accuracy goes, I know handguards really kind of went to being free floated originally for accuracy reasons. And I haven't seemed to notice a really big difference in accuracy given that this isn't free floated. And I've done some mag dumps. I've gotten this barrel piping hot. And honestly, the difference of accuracy between heating up wasn't much different than any of my other free-floated AR-15s. So, again, a basic handguard works fine. Now, obviously, if you want to mount a weapon light, you need somewhere to attach it. So then maybe a Magpul handguard would work in that case. Or they do have attachments that work with your FSB up front. Now, if you're looking to mount some lasers and you have night vision and stuff like that, you are going to want something more substantial, more solid, that is free floated, that's going to be able to hold zero better. But as far as accuracy goes, and I think as far as most shooters, most people who have AR-15s, most of them don't have night vision, most of them don't have PEC-15s and MALs and D-balls and stuff like that. So basic handguard, it works. The fourth thing this rifle has taught me, which I kind of talked about a little bit earlier, was I'm starting to like more barrel length. And I'm not saying short barrels are bad by any means. I'm just saying that extra velocity could be helpful in a lot of situations. A long barrel isn't necessarily all that bad. The last thing this rifle has taught me is iron sights can still get it done. They work. They are not as fast to pick up. Your sight acquisition is nowhere as quick. But one thing a lot of people seem to forget is if you're going to be doing anything super quick, whether it's a home invasion situation or a defensive situation, you're kind of going off a point of aim. You're not even really going for that perfect sight picture per se. So I would say in a lot of situations, iron sights work pretty well. Now, I bring this up because I just wonder if money spent on frivolous upgrades could better serve us being spent somewhere else. Maybe like more ammo, or maybe training, or maybe healthier groceries, or just making better decisions in other areas, saving that money for something a little bit better that could benefit us more. Because, you know, upgrading your grip 3 different times to find out the best grip for you, is that worth it? Is it worth the money? Is getting a custom laser engraved dust cover, okay, I guess that's not even really a thing anymore. I hope people aren't still doing that. But you get what I mean, is trying to get the latest and greatest flash hider or muzzle brake. You're spending, I mean, a lot of those now are close to, they're between $50 to $100. And if you're trying out all these different ones, trying to keep up with the times, how is that serving you? And so it's not that iron sights are the best. It's not that you don't need a free floating handguard. I'm not saying any of that. I wanted to bring up the question of, can that money be better spent? Can that money serve you better in any other way? And it's just something I want to leave off with you guys, just to think about. So it does kind of wrap up this video. I'm impressed with this rifle kit. I do recommend it. Again, if you guys are interested, there will be a link down in the description box. And that pretty much wraps it up, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. Thank you to everyone who subscribed to the channel. You guys seriously rock. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time.